Good morning and welcome to today's Fort Worth Regional 3 press conference featuring Michigan Wolverines head coach Kim Barnes-Arico. We'll begin with an opening statement from Coach Barnes-Arico, then open it up for questions. If you have a question, please raise your hand and one of our assistants will come to you. As a courtesy to everyone in the room, please silence your cell phones. When asking a question, please state your name and media affiliation each time. For those joining via Zoom, please use the raise hand function. We'll take questions in the room first and go to Zoom as time permits. Also note that recording press conferences on cell phones or cameras is not permitted. Coach, we'll start with your opening statement.
Good morning. It's great to be here in Fort Worth. We just finished awesome practice and excited to be in the warm weather. And really just excited that our team is here in the Sweet 16. We've had a really special year, record-breaking in program history, and we have some incredibly talented players and great people inside of our program. So we know we have a tough matchup tomorrow versus a Louisville team that is, been here year in and year out, has a great program, and we're excited about the opportunity to continue to play and to continue to be here in Fort Worth.
And if you have a question, please raise your hand and we'll have someone come to you. If you'll state your name and media affiliation.
Hey, Coach. Andy Mathis, USA Today. I was wondering, how would you compare Mila Holloway's personality when she's on versus off the court, and how important has she been during this run?
Yeah, if anyone watches Mila Holloway play, you just think she's this steady, calm presence for our team. She never really gets too high. She never really gets too low. She's been like that from the minute she stepped on campus. Her first career game was against South Carolina as a freshman. She started at the point guard spot. That's not easy for anyone, and throughout her career, she hasn't only played the unbelievable teams in our conference, but she's also played, against UConn, against Vanderbilt, against some of the best programs in the country, and her demeanor really never changes. Mila's kind of the same off the court. She is the kindest, sweetest, caring individual in our program. She's a great, great teammate. She wants to be great for everyone else. If she makes a mistake, she feels bad. If she misses somebody on a pass, she feels bad. And, I got you next play. But she's just a player inside of our program that continues to improve day in and day out and has been a tremendous player inside our program, starting as a freshman at the point guard spot.
Kim, Stephen Hawkins with the AP. I'm not sure if you saw Corey Close's comments yesterday in Sacramento about this being, she's as tired as she's ever been based on all the changes in college basketball the last couple of years. Can you relate to that, and what kind of response would you have to that, to how things have changed?
Yeah, I always say we're getting tired because of the changes, not because of our age. So Corey and I are probably in the same boat. We've been doing this for a really long time. I think the changes in college athletics have been incredible in the last few years. We've all felt it, whether that's our travel, whether that's NIL, whether that's the transfer portal. But a few years ago when all this started to come into play, I knew as a coach, and I talked to our players and I talked to our staff, times are changing, we need to evolve. That's part of it. We need to grow. We need to step up to the challenges, because if we can't, the landscape, all of it is going to pass us by. So, Corey, I didn't read her stuff. I try to stay off of the social media because, a lot of stuff that I'm hearing from yesterday, people are doing the comparison game, or people are, coaches are being negative to other leagues or other programs, and I try to just stay in our lane and coach our team and do the best that we can. But Corey's one of the best in the business. If she's saying that, it's real. UCLA's travel, we go out there one time, and I'm like, whew, that just hit. It just hit a little bit different. So I'm sure she certainly feels it. I'm sure the players in her program definitely feel it. But it is what it is right now, so we are going to spin it and make it the best that it can possibly be.
Kim, Chantel Jennings with The Athletic. I think it was after the first or second round game you had mentioned Bev Plotke and Carol Hutchins and some of the other women's sports coaches at Michigan that you had gotten close with over the years. I'm curious what you've learned from them. I don't know how much softball and gymnastics you can implement into your practices necessarily, but even just like how you go about your day, how you structure things in practice, or how you think about the year and the seasons as they change, what you've taken from them.
Yeah. Hi, Chantel. I think coaching and coaches are so similar, even if you coach different sports. You know, you might not be talking about the exact X's and O's of basketball or the flips of gymnastics, but as a young coach coming into Michigan, I wanted to learn from those experienced championship coaches that came before me. And, you know, I did mention them the other day. Michigan has had some incredible championship coaches. And, you know, that's Carol, Coach Hutch for sure, but Bev Plocky, Ronnie Bernstein. I mean, you could go down the list, Marsha Prancrest, like won Big Ten championships and NCAA championships. And great coaches, I think as any young coach, I'm not a young coach in the business anymore, but even as an old coach, you just want to continue to learn, you want to continue to grow. So coaching is building relationships and believing in people and getting people, players, to believe in themselves more than they ever thought imaginable. That really doesn't have a lot to do with X's and O's. That has to do with building relationships and caring about people. And Hutch is one of the greatest to ever do that. You know, when our team watched the documentary on Pat Summitt the other day, you know, when I think about Pat Summitt, I think about Carol Hutchins and the impact that she had on softball. But how many people could learn from Pat? And it wasn't basketball. It was how she treated people, how she got the best out of people, how she created this championship mentality, regardless of sport. I bet you can take Hutch, and she could probably coach any sport. And I would say the same about Pat Summitt. You could probably put her into any sport, and she could be successful at it. So I feel fortunate, and I said that the other day, you know, part of the reason that I came to the University of Michigan and I left my family and everything I ever knew on the East Coast was to be surrounded by that type of excellence and that type of picking of the brain that I can do on a regular basis of all of those coaches. We spend a lot of time together. We spent a lot of time together during COVID. We couldn't do anything, so we would go over everyone's house and we'd sit outside and we'd just talk. We'd just talk as coaches. You know, how do you get to this level? What do you do? What are your practices like? What are they structured like? The women's lacrosse coach is pretty new in this business, but she's one of the most decorated players of our time, and Hannah Nielsen. She's always coming over to practices. She's always picking our brain, and the game is so similar. I think we can all steal ideas from each other. I think that's what makes Michigan special. The women at Michigan are powerful and strong, and the coaches at Michigan are absolutely incredible. And I said this the other day, like, you know, everybody talks about the men's coaches, and, you know, whether that had been Coach Harbaugh, Coach Beeline, Bo Schembechler. But for me, what drew me was the women coaches at Michigan, and now my relationship with them has helped me to become a better coach.
Kim, Angelique Chingelis from the Detroit News. 2 questions, because I don't think I get a follow-up. But how tough is it not having Macy available? And also, you talk about the sophomores all the time. What about the quad squad? What did that mean for this program?
Yeah, so I'll start with the quad squad for those of you new in the audience. A couple years ago was the first time in my coaching career that I was really affected by the transfer portal, and it was the year that kind of NIL exploded, transfer portal exploded, all those things exploded. Because in my career as a coach, not very many people left our team, 1, and 2, in my time at Michigan, not very many people leave Michigan. Because the Block M and the Michigan brand and the network and everything that comes with our university is absolutely incredible. So not a lot of people want to leave, ever. So when the transfer portal hit our program, that was like a crushing blow to me. And as a coach, it made me reflect, and how could I grow? How can I get better? What do I need to change? We had 4 people returning in our program at that point, 4 players. And of those 4, only 1 really had playing time. Only 1 returning had experience, and that was Jordan Hobbs. The other 3 really hadn't played much, and Macy Brown, Alyssa Crockett, who are still members of our team, were a part of that quad squad, as well as Greta Kamschrader. So we met every day, all day, and, they kind of got the nickname the Quad Squad. What are we going to do? We don't even have enough people to have a team next year. Like, what's going to happen? And I remember one of those first nights, Jordan Hobbs' parents sent me a long email, and it just said, "Hey, Coach, this is the landscape of college athletics. Like, we got your back. Jordan loves it here. She loves this program. She loves you. She loves this university. Go with people that want to be here. Shift your mindset." And for me, that was kind of eye-opening, as I was crying, trying to go to bed. That made me shift and turn to, like, let's celebrate the people that stayed. Let's celebrate the Quad Squad. And we just, the four of them and myself, just continued to grow and learn together. And our incoming sophomore class were seniors in high school at that time, and I remember calling all of them and telling them what was going on, and they were like, "Coach, we got your back. We're coming." You know what that means? That means more opportunities for us. We'll be ready to go. We'll be ready to play. And I was like, oh my gosh, these are high school kids. They have no idea we're opening up against South Carolina. And they're like, "That's good, Coach. We're fine. We're fine." I'm like, oh boy, all right. What they don't know what they don't know. But then we opened up against South Carolina, and we played them to a one-possession game. And Silas Swords in their college debut had like 27 and 13. And I was like, okay, maybe they know more than I know. I don't know. So that's kind of the story of the Quad Squad and how the Quad Squad embraced our freshman class at that time. Macy and Alyssa are still left, and they're critical members of that squad. I can't say enough about both of them, Alyssa Crockett being a senior and Macy Brown being a junior. Macy, for those of you that don't know, is the heart and soul of our team. I am a mom of 3, and I've told Macy Brown's mother since I'd known Macy, which was probably about 8 years old, that if I could adopt her child, I would want her adopted into my family. If I could have her marry into my family, I would want her to marry into my family. She's just absolutely the most incredible human that you've ever been around, the most unselfish person, the biggest heart, the biggest cheerleader for everyone in our program. So when she went down in practice the other day, it was just crushing. It was crushing for all of us. And I think, every teammate has rallied around her, and every teammate feels the exact same way about Macy. She's here with us, which is awesome. And I'm sure you'll hear her voice on the bench.
Coach, thank you for your time.
I'm done. Yes. All right, guys. So great to see everyone.
Hammond Communications will post a recording of this press conference in the NCAA Digital Media Hub at ncaa.veritone.com. Transcripts are provided by ASAP and will be posted shortly. Good morning and welcome to today's press conference featuring the Michigan Wolverines. Our student athletes joining us today are Silas Swords, Mila Holloway, and Olivia Olson. Before we begin, if you have a question, please raise your hand. As a courtesy to everyone in the room, please silence your cell phones. When you are asking a question to our student athletes today, if you can identify who you're asking the question to. And then when you're asking your question as well, if you can state your name and media affiliation each time. Please note that recording press conferences on cell phones or cameras is not permitted. I will now open it up for questions for the student athletes.
Mila, my name is Mia, with USA Today. What does it mean to represent Michigan? Your grandpa went there, your mom went there, so what does it mean to just wear that M and represent the colors?
It means a lot. I mean, I'm glad I could come and represent them and my family in Michigan in the right way. Just trying to carry myself the right way, be a great example for the people coming after me, and yeah, just do what I can to represent Michigan.
Stephen Hawkins with the AP. I'd kind of like all y'all to address this. This seems like the game of sophomores. They're 3 starters of all second-year players, you all obviously. Can you guys talk about what a difference it makes to have the experience together in this situation, but also not the desperation of this is the last shot?
We'll start with Olivia.
Yeah, I think we're really just excited, and we had a lot of opportunities to play in big games last year as well as throughout this whole year. We've been put in, Silas said it before, like every situation possible, it feels like. And so we're just really using our experience as fuel to keep going and accomplish our goals. And like we accomplished our goal of being able to host, and I think we're taking great strides. And so it's been really cool to just be sophomores, but we don't want to just be known as like sophomores. We want to make it as far as we can, and that's the goal.
Anyone else?
Lindsay Gibbs with CBS Sports. For all of you, what did you learn from the Iowa loss in the Big Ten tournament that you can kind of take into, these big games going forward?
Let's start with Sila.
Yeah, I would say just to not take any game for granted and recognize that every possession matters. Whether it's first quarter, first play of the game, whether it's third quarter, we have to be making sure that we're playing our hardest, diving on every ball, executing to a T in every possession, because you never know how the game is going to turn out in the end. And I think, that game against Iowa, we watched a lot of film. We learned a lot individually, even of where we can be better. And it's great to have a learning opportunity like that heading into the tournament.
Building off of what Silas said, just knowing the importance of each possession. I mean, we went back to the film room. We all saw possessions where we missed a rebound and missed a block out, didn't dive on the floor for a 50-50, and all of that little stuff adds up. And, I mean, we ended up losing that game by a large margin of points, but, I mean, it could have went any way, and if we would have did those little things, we wouldn't have been in that position. So, yeah.
Cassandra Negley with Yahoo Sports. Kim was just speaking about you all remaining committed after she lost so many players to the transfer portal. Can you take me back to that time and why you decided to stay here, and then what the quad has meant to your development in college so far?
Yeah, when we committed to Coach Rico, and we committed to Michigan, and we were going to follow through with that. And we believed in her, we believed in each other, and I think in doing so, it just showed our loyalty to her, as well as like she recruits good people and she recruits talented people and all like-minded, and I think just sticking together, and we all have like-minded goals as well as her, and so it means a lot to play for her and be able to represent her after that. We know it was not a great time, but like being able to stick with our commitment, we knew we wanted to.
I think touching on that like-mindedness too, we were all very secure in our recruiting process and in our decision. We had went through it, we had given ourselves the proper time to talk to the right schools, and Michigan was still that program that we wanted to represent. And I think ultimately that's why we're such a tight-knit team, is because we had the chance to leave, we had the choice to leave, and we all decided to stay. And that was a mutual decision, but that was also within ourselves. And I think that's a special thing nowadays, even with the transfer portal, is you don't see that every day, and that's why we're so tight-knit on the court and off.
Again, please raise your hand if you have a question.
Matt Park, Michigan Radio. Coach was in here a little bit ago talking about Mila, how stoic she is on the court, but not necessarily the same off the court for Olivia and Sila. Tell us a little bit about what Mila Holloway is like when you're not on the basketball floor with her.
That's a good question. I mean, you can see it even here. Like, Mila's like a fun-loving personality. She loves to joke around, loves to have fun. She can be serious when you need her to be, but I think she's, a great addition to our sophomore class. We all have different personalities. She's always smiling off the court, which, it brings a lot of energy to us when we're not playing basketball. It makes our team hangouts very fun and interesting. So.
Yeah, I think what's rare also is, like, Mila has a different relationship and a close relationship with every single person on the team, and I think that helps so much for her as a point guard, knowing people's tendencies and knowing, and just like team overall chemistry. Like, she will go out of her way to kind of get to know every single person differently, and like whether she knows if someone can joke around a lot or if you need to be more like straight up to someone or like get on someone. Like, she really knows people, and I think that means a lot to our team, and I think that just shows how good of a person she is.
Thanks, that means a lot.
Again, if you have a question, please raise your hand.
Matt Park, Michigan Radio. I don't want to leave Mila out. I've been around Coach for her entire 14 years. I know how hard she is on her point guards especially. So can you tell me a little bit about your relationship with Coach and what it is that she does to bring the best out of you when you're on the floor?
I mean, love Coach Rico to death. I mean, she's someone who will be real with you, just be straight up. It's important that you get to know her off the court and build that relationship. I've been trying to go to her office more, just joking around, talking about life, doing all those little things to kind of build our relationship. But on the court, she's definitely going to hold me to the highest standard possible. She's never satisfied, and that's something that I love about her. She brings the best out of each and every person on our team, and I'm just, I'm grateful to be a part of this team, grateful to play for her.
Any other questions? All right, ladies, thank you, and
Thanks,
good luck tomorrow.
Thanks, guys. Bye.
Hammond Communications will post a recording of this press conference in the NCAA Digital Media Hub at ncaa.veritone.com. Transcripts will be provided by ASAP and will be posted shortly.